Talking with William Warfield with PrepSpin. And William, first of all, just kind of give the folks that maybe don't know what PrepSpin is, kind of tell them what you guys do. Obviously, you guys have been streaming these games for a long time over there in Lexington, do a great job with that. Kind of just give the folks an idea of what you all are, where they can find you, and that kind of information.
Well, we obviously we broadcast high school sports here in Central Kentucky, and throughout the state. We do all the big state tournaments for the KHSA on their network, and we just got our hands in a lot of different things. But yeah, man, we love high school athletics and love highlighting these student athletes, and no time is like right now. Tournament time, man. It's exciting times for us.
You all have had some good games over the last couple of weeks, especially I know that during the regular season you had the one with Henry Clay and Ballard in the last couple of weeks of the regular season, and then now heading into the 11th region tournament, which we've talked off air. This is going to be a very exciting time because with Henry Clay getting knocked out in the district tournament, it kind of opens it up for everybody. Catholic, Douglas playing very well right now. Madison Central over here in Richmond's playing very well. So a couple of different teams that are peaking at the right time. Let's talk about the bracket first. You've got Catholic versus Franklin County, Frederick Douglass versus Berea, Madison Central and Tates Creek, and then Frankfort against
Scott County.
Yeah, Frankfort against Scott County. So that whole bracket, the way it shakes out, I mean, to me, every first-round game is going to be a lot of fun. And you guys in the first round of the boys' game will be having Lexington Catholic and Franklin County. So talk about that game first, and then we'll look at the rest of the bracket.
Yeah, we got Lexington Catholic, Franklin County, in that first-round matchup. We're excited about that. I want to say this. This is kind of this tournament, the way that it's shaped up. You talked about Henry Clay being out of it. Frederick Douglass kind of shocked the world there, so to speak, or at least the state. But this tournament is kind of like that 2013 tournament where you had your Madison Central team, and then you had everybody else. Well, this tournament you got your Lexington Catholic team, who's on a whole nother level, I believe, and then you got everybody else, which is kind of on even territory right now as far as, their basketball and where they're at right now. So I think Lexington Catholic going into this thing's got to be your number one seed favorite if you were to seed the teams. And really, honestly, I think everybody's going to come at Catholic and give them their best shot. But yeah, that first-round game, you got Lexington Catholic, Franklin County there. You got two good coaches going at it. You got Brandon Salzman, of course, there at Lexington Catholic, and Tony Wise, which, Tony, over the recent years, he's been joining us there courtside as we doing the 11th region broadcast, but this year he's kind of busy, so we'll see how that plays out. I know he's going to come out firing and give him his best shot when that happens in Lexington tomorrow night.
Well, in round two, it's setting up, with Douglas playing the way they are right now, it's setting up for a great round two game between Catholic and Douglas. If that were to happen, that game might be all eyes from the state on that matchup with the way that Douglas is playing and the way Catholic has played all year long. Berea and Douglas in the first round. Berea took one on the chin there in the district championship game to Madison Central, but they've had one of the best years in school history. I just feel like the way that Douglas is playing right now, it's going to be hard to knock them off. So the potential matchup between Douglas and Catholic in round two is one that I think everybody is looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that'll be a huge game right there. You're forgetting, Berea, they're 22. Well, let's see, what is their record here, Mike, as I'm looking it up.
I think 22 and 10.
Yeah, 22 and 9 on the season.
Yeah.
So, you look at that, and yeah, it looks on paper everything's a great season, but then when you look at the strength of schedule there, and I know you got a lot of Berea listeners over there, and I apologize to them here, but let's be honest, man. Berea hasn't played the kind of schedule that Frederick Douglass has this year, and and a lot of the other teams, as a matter of fact, as well. So, and that's just it's not Berea's fault. It's just they're just a small school right there, and they play some good games to try to get some wins underneath their belt, and that's totally understandable. But Douglas and Catholic, I think, is on a whole nother level in that top bracket. I think that's the two teams that you're going to see in that second round in the semifinal.
I agree. I think, especially with the way Douglas is playing right now, I mean, the way they knocked off Henry Clay on their way to a district title and their first one in school history, even though it's been a very short time that they have been in school, their football team has been incredible since day one, but now their basketball team starting to get that publicity as well. You look at the bottom half of the bracket, Madison Central and Tates Creek, and then Frankfort and Scott County. And I feel like this bottom half of the bracket is wide open with the way these teams have played throughout the year. On paper, I think Scott County and Central should win those first round matchups. But if they were to play in the second round, Scott County beat the Indians by double figures earlier in the year, could be a chance for a possible rematch game for Central, because not only did Scott County beat them in the regular season this year, but also beat them in the first round of the region last year.
Yeah, in this bottom bracket, it is tough. It's tough to pick somebody to win out of there. Obviously, you got a great coach in Coach Feldhouse there, a legendary coach, future Hall of Famer. They're from Madison Central. And then you got a up-and-coming coach. You got Coach Jared Gay with Tates Creek, and, he's done outstanding things turning Tates Creek's program around. It's been 9 years since they've been to the regional tournament. So that says a lot right there for what he's done with that program the last couple of years to get them into where they're at now. District runner-up and probably, arguably the most tough district in the whole state.
Oh, yeah.
The 43rd is just, every single year it seems like it just reloads and puts the talent out there, and the teams just battle every single year. So it's always good to see teams come out of that 43rd and then get into this regional tournament. But yeah, man, I'm excited about the matchup. You got the legend taking on the rookie, so to speak, in that Madison Central Tates Creek game. Now, the good thing for Madison Central, though, is you guys got home court advantage over there. So that could play a role in it, having that home court advantage, having that home crowd there. And Coach Feldhouse, you got to play him perfect. You know how that is, man, because he's going to come. Everybody knows their X's and O's there and that with Coach Feldhouse coaching. And, those guys are coached very well. So they're gonna come out and play their A game, and Tates Creek just better hope that they don't bring a B or C game. They have to have their A game as well to pull something off there at Madison Central.
Well, with Central, one thing that's been their big thing all year is they're so young. They're playing no seniors. You're playing 2 freshmen in the starting lineup, another freshman that comes off the bench. You've got an 8th grader who was probably the reason they even made it here to the regional tournament, because Kenyatta Harge, the 8th grader, came off the bench in the first round of the district when they looked lifeless against Madison Southern in round 1 of the district tournament, and he came in and provided a spark on both ends and kind of propelled them to victory that day. So you've got an 8th grader getting key minutes, 2 freshmen, a lot of young guys out there for Alan Feldhouse, and even the upperclassmen, other than Cole Brown and Braden Ray, the rest of their kids are young, and even like guys that are juniors and sophomores that are getting playing time, they never got key minutes last year. So even though they're a little bit older, they're not really experienced as far as being on the floor. So I think that home game in the first round of the region for Madison Central is an even bigger deal because of their youth getting to play in front of the home crowd.
Well, and here's the other thing, too, that you may want to throw out there, too, is Madison Central. If you look at all the different schedules in the state of Kentucky, Madison Central probably played the toughest schedule in the state. I don't think there's any question about that. I think Madison Central has definitely played the toughest schedule, so they're going to come in there fired up, ready to play. Everything's on the line. It's win or go home right now. So, they may have a little trouble out of guys from Tates Creek like Amari Taylor, for example, but I honestly think that, like the Brown kid, for example, for Madison Central, I think he steps up pretty big again in this game. And I think home court advantage may win it for you guys. So Madison Central will probably move on.
Now, you guys will have every game from the 11th region tournament once it gets over to EKU. Talk about just how fun this is going to be and the potential matchup of Catholic and Douglas in round 2, and then a Madison Central Scott County matchup in round 2. And then maybe a championship game of Catholic Scott County or a Catholic Central, which a couple of weeks ago we had Catholic and Central. That game went into overtime and was, 2 inches away from a Trey Skaggs three-pointer going into double overtime. So I think folks that watched that game wouldn't mind to see a rematch of Lexington Catholic Madison Central for a regional championship.
Yeah, and it very well could happen. Now, I will say this, Michael, that, probably the most dangerous team in this tournament right now, you may think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, man, I saw these guys play in the All-A Classic. I've seen them play a couple times this year. But Frankfort, when Frankfort is on, man, Coach Chris O'Brien has got those Panthers, man. He's got them playing top-notch basketball. And Frankfort could definitely pull that upset against Scott County. So you may have Madison Central, Frankfort in that semifinal game.
Well, and Frankfort too they've got the home court game in round one, and then they have the ability or the luxury of already playing once in the All-A Classic on the floor at EKU. So, whereas Madison Central might have an advantage over most teams playing their district tournament there, Frankfort played an entire tournament there already and made it to the championship game, so they've got experience on that floor as well this season. So if that were to be the matchup, then, I don't know who gets the edge because Frankfort's got a lot of older guys that are playing really well. And they got the big kid. I can't remember his name, but he could shoot the ball.
Twombly.
Exactly, Twombly. Yes, he's a very good player.
Yeah, Twombly's really good. Frankfort takes charges just as good as anybody in the state. I think Tate's Creek's up there with them as far as taking charges. So you know how that defense leads to offense, and these guys are quick. So, Frankfort does a great job with that. Matter of fact, Will O'Brien, the coach's son, he's outstanding. I think he averages 2 or 3 charges a game that he takes. But you got guys like that. You got Chaz Austin, who happens to be a star for Frankfort. The senior, he wears that number 14 jersey, man. And I tell you, he's really going to be something big in this tournament. If they can get past Scott County, man, I'm telling you, Chaz Austin's probably going to be the key for Frankfort.
Let's take a look over at the girls' tournament, the 11th region for the girls. Scott County and Franklin County have always seemed like they've always been at the top. But as far as this tournament goes, you get Central, Scott County, Dunbar, and Franklin County hosting the first round of games. Tonight, you all will actually have the Berea Dunbar game. Talk about that game, and for the folks, again, that may not know where to watch it at, I know you PrepSpin.com, the Facebook page. Talk about that, where they can find that action at tonight.
Yeah, so, we've got it multicasting tonight, so you can watch it on, PrepSpin's Facebook page if you want to watch it there, if you're on Facebook, and you know how many people are on Facebook constantly, so you guys do a great job of streaming games on Facebook, so we kind of took that out of your all's idea there, I guess, and kind of ran with it, said, hey, WBON's having success with Facebook, why don't we try it? So we did the same thing, so we're on Facebook tonight, we're on PrepSpin.com, you can find it on YouTube. And then we're also putting it out on the NFHS network as well. So all these tournament games, that we personally do, we'll simulcast to the NFHS network as part of our agreement with the KHSA.
You talk about Facebook, and I just feel like since we've been doing it, it's easier for Grandma and Grandpa who, don't know what YouTube is or how to work the computer as good. Facebook's so much easier for them to just click on there, see the video, and click on it. I feel like that's just easier for the folks that aren't as technologically advanced as some of us are. It made it a little bit easier access for them.
Yeah, well, Facebook does a great job of networking people together.
Yes.
And, people already know where to find their school at on there, know where to find your all station, for example, on there, or your network. Same thing with us, man. When people want to find stuff and they're on Facebook, they see it there because it not only does it alert them in their news feed, but it also, people share word of mouth, so to speak. You know how word of mouth used to work. Well, now it's word of click, if you will, Michael. So everybody's sharing that information with everybody on there. So it really is a great networking tool. And I truly believe that's how a lot of these people watch our videos, is because people are spreading the news through Facebook.
So you've got Berea Dunbar tonight, and just talk about this girls' regional tournament as a whole. It looks like Scott County, Franklin County is almost destined to be the final game, but just taking a quick look at it, what is your opinion as far as this girls' 11th region tournament?
Well, I think it's the same thing as the boys. I think you got Scott County, and then I think you got everybody else who's got a fair share in there. I think Dunbar would probably be my number 2 seed if I was to seed these out. Scott County obviously number 1, Dunbar number 2. And then everybody else just kind of falls in place. I think Franklin County might squeak away with that number 3 seed just because of their tough schedule.
Yeah.
And, they're coached very well with Coach Joey Thacker. So, man, I think it's up for grabs. Obviously, Madison Central's got home court advantage against Great Crossing. Madison Central probably pull that one out. Definitely Scott County will probably, win that game. They got a tough first-round game with Tate's Creek. Tate's Creek, out of the 43rd district again, even on the girls' side it's tough. So Scott County and Tate's Creek, but I think Scott County is just going to be too much. You got the Red Mamba over there, man, and she's just fantastic. And then, of course, you got Williams, who is a Kentucky Miss basketball candidate. Scott County's loaded, man, and they're coached very well too. So I think Scott County, Madison Central out of the bottom bracket is going to be your semifinal game, and then in the top bracket, and no disrespect to Bryan Station, but I think Franklin County pulls that out, and I think Dunbar will meet Franklin County in the semifinal up top. And if I was to pick my final, I think you're going to be looking at Scott County and Dunbar in that championship game.
That'll be a fun one, too, because, as you said, both those teams playing very well right now, and Dunbar down the stretch was really playing good. As far as Madison Central goes, it's kind of surprising to see them here. They were the preseason number 4 team in the district, behind Southern, behind Berea, and even behind Model going into the regular season, because they lost so much from last year, new head coach, but Coach Lovely got them ready to play in this district tournament. They lost their last 5 regular season games, so to go the last 5 games of the regular season with losses, and then to kind of regroup and somehow pull out a district championship was pretty big for them. They're riding high right now, and as you said, the home court advantage will be a big deal for them. And I agree with you. I think Scott County is obviously the team to beat. I think Franklin County, Scott County will be the championship game because just the history those two schools have, and looking back, I feel like Franklin County, with the tough schedule that they played, will kind of propel them to victory in that round too. But as you said already, I don't see anybody getting past Scott County for this championship. So I think we'll see Scott County on the girls' side. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the way Frederick Douglass is playing right now, I think they're my pick for the boys' side. I obviously, being kind of a homer for Madison Central, would love to see the Indians pull it out. But I think Frederick Douglass on the boys' side, and on the girls' side, Scott County.
All right. Well, Frederick Douglass did play Lexington Catholic earlier in the season, back in the Holiday Classic tournament there at Lexington Catholic. I got to see them. They played a close game, honestly. It was 68-57, the final in that one. Lexington Catholic obviously won that. But I got to tell you, man, I got to stick with the Knights in the boys tournament. I just think Lexington Catholic, it's their year, and it's probably perhaps their best team ever, honestly, Michael.
Yeah.
In 2001, they went 33-2 on the season. They won the state championship that year. And I truly believe that this Lexington Catholic team, I truly believe that Coach Salzman and the Knights have that opportunity to do that once again.
Well, it'll be fun, my man. I know we got some big games coming up this week. Look forward to working with you all some. And, again, PrepSpin tonight, they will have Berea Dunbar girls. Tomorrow night, they'll have the Catholic game on PrepSpin.com and on their Facebook page, YouTube, everywhere else. And then they'll have every game of the 11th Region Tournament from EKU once the tournament gets over there as well. So, William, good luck this week, my man. Look forward to talking to you as the week goes on. And if we can do anything for you, just holler back at us, okay?
Mike, I'm a huge fan of yours, man. I appreciate all you do for high school athletics.
Thank you, sir. I was saying for you, hey, listen, you guys set the bar with this. We're just trying to follow it, all right?
Appreciate that.
All right, thanks. That's William Warfield with PrepSpin. Again, some big games coming up this week all over the 11th region. These guys will have every single one of them for you once the tournament gets over to EKU. I'll take another commercial break here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, and we'll come back on the stations of Volume for Broadcasting and WBONTV.com.